My husband thought he hung up the phone. He didn't. For 4 minutes and 12 seconds, it kept recording, and everything I heard in that call destroyed my marriage. I never meant to listen. That's the part I keep coming back to. If the call had ended when it was supposed to, I would still be living in that version of my life. The one where everything felt normal. It was a Tuesday. Nothing special. My husband, Daniel, had called me during his lunch break. We talked about groceries, bills, the usual routine things that make a marriage feel stable, predictable, safe. "I've got to run," he said. "I'll call you later." "Okay," I replied. And then silence, except it wasn't. At first, I thought the line had just lagged. You know how sometimes calls don't disconnect properly? I was about to hang up when I heard his voice again. But it was different. Lower, relaxed. Not the voice he used with, "Me. Yeah, she bought it," he said. I froze. Another voice answered, "A woman. Are you sure?" she asked. He laughed. That laugh, the one I hadn't heard in a long time. "Of course I'm sure," he said. "She trusts me." My grip tightened around the phone. "She has no idea," he continued. My heart started pounding, loud enough that I thought they might somehow hear it. The woman laughed softly. "And the money?" There was a pause. Then, "It's almost done," he said. "A few more weeks, and it's ours." Ours. I stopped breathing. "What about her?" the woman asked. Another pause. Longer this time. Then he said something that didn't just hurt. It shattered something inside me. "She won't be a problem." I don't remember how long I stood there, the phone still pressed against my ear, the world around me gone. The call continued. For exactly 4 minutes and 12 seconds. I know that because I replayed it over and over again, trying to find something, anything, that made it make sense. But it didn't. Because everything they said was clear. It wasn't just cheating. It was a plan involving money. My money. That night, I didn't confront him. I cooked dinner, smiled, acted normal, because suddenly, I didn't know who I was living with, and confronting someone like that, blindly, felt dangerous. Instead, I listened, watched, waited, and slowly, pieces started falling into place. The investments he had been handling, all under his control. The accounts I never checked, because I trusted him. The documents he asked me to sign without explaining fully. I started digging, quietly, carefully, and what I found was worse than the call. He had been moving money, small amounts at first, then larger ones, into accounts I didn't recognize. Accounts linked to her. Her name was Olivia. I found it in the transaction records, and suddenly, she wasn't just a voice anymore. She was real. For weeks, I said nothing because I needed proof, not emotion. Then one night, I followed him. He told me he was working late. He wasn't. I watched him walk into a restaurant and sit across from her, Olivia. She looked comfortable, like she belonged in my life more than I did. They laughed, talked like partners. Not just in a relationship, but in something deeper, something calculated. That's when I made my decision. I wasn't going to confront him. Not yet. I was going to let him think. Everything was working. The next few weeks, I played my role perfectly. Signed what he needed, smiled when he looked at me, pretended I didn't know, and then I did something he never expected. I moved the money first. Every account, every asset. I had access to transferred, secured, protected, and then I waited. It didn't take long. 3 days later, he came home early, panic written all over his face. "Did you touch the accounts?" he asked. I looked at him. Calm. Yes. Silence. Why? He demanded. I reached into my bag and pressed play. His voice filled the room. Yeah, she bought it. The color drained from his face. For the first time, I saw him exactly as he was. Not my husband. A stranger. You were going to take everything. I said. He didn't deny it, didn't apologize, just stood there, caught. I was going to leave, he said finally. With her. I nodded. I know. What he didn't know was that I had already left, mentally, emotionally, before he even walked through that door. The divorce was quick, clean, because this time, I had the truth. And him? He lost everything. Not because I took it, but because he underestimated me. Sometimes, the worst betrayals aren't loud. They don't come with obvious signs. Sometimes, they're hidden in the quiet moments, in the calls that were supposed to end. And sometimes, all it takes is 4 minutes and 12 seconds to change everything.